There once was a 6-year-old girl whose dad had just come home from being overseas in Iraq for 6.5 years. Her mom and dad were fighting a lot while she was growing up. Even with him being overseas, they would still tend to fight a lot. She was always getting caught up in the middle of their fights. These fights were causing her to lose her focus in school, sports, friends, and her family. With this being said, she almost failed second grade and she gave up on hope in school, her dreams, and on love at such a young age. Considering the fact that her aunt, uncle, mom, and her dad were all getting a divorce within 1 year of each other, this was a lot for such a young kid to take in. Her parents getting divorced was a whole eye-opener for her on the real world. She had to learn how to take care of herself, her little sister, and her family all at a young age. She also somehow had to figure out why her parents did what they did and how to fix things and how to adjust to the new normal. Sad to say, things were never normal again after that. Whether she was hanging out with friends or anything, she would always see the happy families and wonder why hers was never like that. This girl is now 18 years old and has a job. She's going to college. She's taking care of her little sister. She's moved out of her mom's and she's now living life to the fullest with her best friend and her boyfriend. According to the Divorce Trauma, Can You Experience PTSD from a Divorce, published on August 29th of 2023. On their website page about while divorce trauma itself may not be warrant a diagnosis, abusive or toxic relationship dynamics can contribute to the development of post-PTSD for divorce. Today we are going to learn about post-traumatic stress from divorce. We will be discussing the post-traumatic stress from divorce, what its effects are, and what the treatments are. What is post-traumatic stress from divorce? Post-traumatic stress from divorce is defined as being defiant, feeling lonely, feeling left out, feeling confused, and feeling angry very easily. All these things are also known as behavioral problems. These are behavioral problems from post-traumatic stress from divorce because when you're losing a loved one or when the only people you know who truly understand like how to love each other and or so you thought get divorced, it really affects you as a child. Along with when you also feel left out at certain times, like you're not wanted around, you just don't really understand how to comprehend or cope with a lot of these things. Another thing about post-traumatic stress from divorce is you tend to have more anger issues because you're scared, and that's your way of like blocking people from hurting you, is you tend to put your guard up or your wall up, so to say. These are all different areas of ways you're affected from post-traumatic stress from divorce at such a young age. You might not realize it, but just because one person seems very happy and very happy-go-lucky doesn't mean they're not struggling with this as well. You never know whose parents are divorced or whose parents aren't divorced. It can be hard to tell. Even though 1 out of every 2 marriages do get divorced, so 50% of marriages do end in divorce, there are some ways that it does affect a kid's mental health and like the way they're growing up and the way their brain like continues to grow. Now we are going to talk about the effects and what like physical and social effects it has. Some physical effects that PTSD from divorce has are the weight gaining, weight losing, and you tend to pick up some new habits, whether it's biting your nails, pulling your hair, twisting your hair, fidgeting, rambling, and stuff like that. While these might not seem very physical, they are also very mental as well. Whether it's you tend to overthink, you tend to get sad when you're by yourself, you don't know how to talk to others or anything, all these can tie in together. Some social effects this has is when you're in a big group of people, you still feel all alone, even though you're not because you're with a group of friends. or you always feel like you need to be with somebody, or you're lacking like the sense of physical touch from somebody, or like just being in the room physically. You might be in the room physically, but you're not in the room mentally because you're always overthinking. Now we will be discussing the effects, and let's explore. Now that we discussed the effects, let's explore the treatments and the treatment options for this PTSD from divorce. Some treatment options are: you can always go to therapy. You can get a paid therapist. You can do like online therapy. You can always just talk to a friend. Make sure you just have an outlet to talk to, because without an outlet, you kind of feel like alone, and then like you just have like a burden on you, you feel like, and you don't know what to do. There's also, you can take some medication, so like if you have anxiety, depression from this, because it is a real thing. You can get sad from your parents getting divorced. There's always the medications that you can take if you get prescribed by a doctor, if so to see fit. The number one way though they suggest getting help with this PTSD is going to a therapist and just talking about all your problems, having somebody to listen to you, or even just having someone to like talk you through it, because you don't always want to put this burden on your family or your friends, which makes a lot of sense. Today we discussed post-traumatic stress from divorce. We talked about what post-traumatic stress from divorce is, its effects, and its treatments. We also talked about how 1 out of every 2 marriages end in divorce, which is 50% of all marriages end in divorce in the United States. What it feels like to be a child from divorce. You can feel lonely, afraid, scared, concerned, confused, all these different things. But there are people, and there is living proof that things do get better, and there's always a better place to look, and there's always an outlook, and there's always somebody who's willing to listen to you.